everyone, it's my happiness to see you again. Now I want to talk about degrees of comparison. Degrees of comparison is used to compare two things, two persons, or even two qualities. It can be not only for two persons, it can be one to others, more than two things or two persons. Degrees of comparison with adjective and with adverb. But in this video, I just want to talk about degrees of comparison with adjectives. Okay, let's begin. The regular form. The regular, of course, when we want to compare with the adjective, we should have to know about the form. We have positive, comparative, and superlative forms. The comparative is used when we want to compare two things, two persons, or two qualities sometimes. And superlative is used when we want to compare more than two persons or things. So the comparison is among things or persons. Okay, let's see the positive. We have one syllable, two syllables, which end with W-O, with O-W, Y, and E-R, other two syllables, and more than two syllables. How to change from positive into comparative? We have this, tall. If it is one syllable, you just put ER or add ER here, taller, and EST for superlative. Great become greater and greatest. There is another word like big or fat that you should pay attention on, because you have to double the consonant. This is for one syllable, for the word that contains one syllable with only one vowel before the consonant. So you have to double the consonant. So like big, bigger, you double G, and then fat, feather, you double the T. And then also if you have one syllable and with E, like fine, yeah, and then wise, you just put R for the comparative and ST for the superlative. So wise, wiser, wisest, or fine, finer, finest. Okay, if you have two syllables ending with OW, like narrow, and then Y, and then ER, is there are two choices here. You can use more, or you can just add it with ER. So narrow, narrower, more narrow, and then happier, you change the Y become I, so IER, happier or more happy. You have clever, and with ER, clever, clever, or more clever, and then you put EST, narrowest, or you use most. Happiest, you use most, also it should be or, yeah? Happiest or most happy, cleverest or most clever. Of course, you cannot use both of them, like this is more narrower than, of course you just choose one. This is more narrow, or this is narrower than. Okay, and then if you have other two syllables than this one, so you just use more and for comparative and most for superlative. And then if you have more than two syllables, you just write accurate. You use more for comparative and most for superlative. More accurate, most accurate. This is comfortable, more than two syllables, more comfortable, most comfortable. This is regular form. How about the irregular form? You have like this. So fun, we cannot have it funner, so we use more. If it is more degree, and we can use less. So more or less fun, most or least fun for the superlative. And then good, you have better, not gooder, but better. And then superlative, you have best. Well, here is as an adjective, it is not adverb, so it is to show the condition of our health. We have better, but we don't have best for this. And then bad, worse, worst, and then much or many become more, and most. Little become less, and then least. Far, farther or further, farthest or furthest. Commonly we use further for in every sentence, but some people use further especially for distance. Later I may tell you about the difference between farther and further in different video. There are some words that are almost the same, but they are used in different way. Okay, so now we talk about the comparison or the construction of the comparison. The first is in the same degree. In the same degree means that the two persons or the two things or the two qualities that we have to compare are the same. Since the cops were as responsive to the information from the people as the army, they could prevent other bombs from the explosion. So we use this construction as and an adjective as. And then you can use the noun here. So as responsive as the army. So we want to compare the cops and the army. We want to compare the person. And then the second, the terrorist guns were as sophisticated as the police. Therefore, they couldn't be beaten easily. Look at this, not as sophisticated as the police. We must put the possessive case here because what is compared here is the guns, not the person. So the guns possessed by the terrorists and the guns possessed by the police. We don't need to write the guns here anymore. We just write police and possessive case like this. If you put as sophisticated as the police, it means that the terrorist gun, the guns are compared to the police. Of course, it will be very wrong. Okay, so this one we want to compare persons, and then in this one we want to compare things. I have some sentence like this. He is as responsible a commander as his men always consider. So if you want to have noun here, you may not write like this. He is as responsible commander as blah 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 blah, because what we compare is we talk about adjective. That's why we must have it like this. He is as responsible a commander as his men. Okay, how about if we want to compare two qualities in one person, or sorry, in two persons, in one thing or one person, like this. The sculptures made of 1,000 pieces of paper by the Chinese artist Li Hongbo are as stunning as they are incredible. I never imagined such flexible ones. So we want to compare two qualities of the sculptures. They are stunning and incredible. So we have it as stunning as they are incredible. They refers to the sculptures. We can also use these constructions. The visitors visiting the gallery are as amazed as impressed with the technique of making the flexible sculptures. So we can have as amazed as impressed. You just use the adjective here. So you can use this complete one, the subject, predicate and then adjective, or you just use the adjective here. It's okay. Then the second construction is in the higher degree. Now we use the comparative form. In the same degree, you just use the positive form with s, positive form, and then s. But here you have comparative form, and don't forget then. So you have more beneficial than. For me, videos on how to make things by ourselves are more beneficial than those on entertainment. They motivate me to be creative. Don't forget, again, always remember that what we compared. So what we compared is videos. That's why we have these videos and those. You cannot have, for me, videos on how to make things by ourselves are beneficial than entertainment. What we compared is videos, not videos and the entertainment. That's why you must make it like this. Okay, the next is, okay, I want to show you first like this. Your video is more interesting than mine. It is the same as what I told you in the previous sentences with SS, that what you must pay attention to what you compare. In this sentence, what we want to compare is the possession. I mean the video that possessed by you, then the video that possessed by me. So you cannot have your video is more interesting than me. If you have that sentence, it means that your video is compared to me. No. What we want to compare is the video. So your video and my video. But we don't use my video here. It is better that you avoid the same word in the same sentence. That's why we use the possessive pronoun. Your video is more interesting than mine, not my video. Okay, and then we want to compare now to qualities. Exploring a forest is more adventurous than challenging. We can learn many new things, like how to cope with the poisonous animals or plants. So adventurous, more adventurous than challenging. There are two qualities of exploring a forest, adventurous and challenging, but adventurous is higher degree than has higher degree than challenging. That's why we put it here, more adventurous than challenging. Okay, and then we have the next is in the lower degree. The temperature of this area is not so high as that of the one nearby. What makes it different? You can use this kind of construction, not so high as, not so or not as. Sometimes people use as. It is okay. You can use not so high as or not as high as. But the most important is the word not. The temperature of this area is not so high as that of the one nearby. It means that the temperature of this area is lower than that of the one nearby. You can use this also, this construction. The beverages in this buffet are less delicate than those you served in your party. Which restaurant catered your party banquet? The beverages in this buffet are less delicate than those. Less delicate than those. So you use the word less here other than the word more, because we talk about the lower degree, so use less. And don't forget the word then. Less delicate than. And then you have so, high as. Usually or commonly for this construction, we use the word with or contains one syllable, but we use less here if the word contains more than one syllables. Okay, the next construction is when we want to express the idea of continuing change. You have this kind of construction, so more and more popular. YouTube becomes more and more popular among the young people. They use it to show their creativity. So more and more popular. Comparative and comparative. If we use more, so we repeat the word more, so more and more popular. This shows continuing change. You can also use it with less, like in the second sentence. People's interest in watching television is getting less and less. Many television stations present their news and programs in YouTube too. So you can use here like this, less and less. Usually the tenses for showing the continuing change here is in continuous like this, but it's okay if you still want to use it in simple present like this. And I still have one example for you, especially if you want to use the one syllable, the word or the adjective with one syllable. The demand of the residential broadband is higher and higher as people are globally connected now. So, of course, you cannot have and high. So you must have higher and higher. Don't forget with this, more and more popular. It is not more popular and more popular, but we just repeat the word more. But for this one syllable with ER, you have higher and higher. I hope that you can understand about the difference between the this one more than one syllable and this is only one syllable. Okay. And then the next is to say that two changes happen together. The hungrier the animals are, the more aggressive they will be. That's why never forget to feed them every day. The hungrier. So you have the here and comparative. The comparative and then subject and predicate, and then you have the again comparative and subject predicate. In informal speaking, it is okay that you don't have the complete sentence like this. You can say the hungrier, the more aggressive the animals will be. But in writing, I just suggest that you should have this one completely written like the subject and then the predicate. The other example is the more ignorant we are to the destruction of the ecosystem, the greater loss we will have. Don't be confused that we should here doesn't mean that it's a superlative. No, because we want to show two changes, the hungrier and the aggressive, and then the more aggressive, and then the more ignorant and the greater loss. So two changes happen in the same time. You can have it here like in this sentence with the noun, the greater loss we will have. That's okay. The next is in superlative. Yeah, superlative means that we want to show that only one that has the highest level. among the others. Every student of Hogwarts had their own one. Do you think that Harry Potter's was the most magical of all? So, we want to compare Harry Potter's one and every student's one. There are so many ones because there are so many students of Hogwarts. And there is a question here. Do you think that Harry Potter's was the most magical? So this shows the only one that has the high power or the highest power of all. Don't forget, of all. You can have this form, of all. Or you can have in, like this. The most obedient creature in Harry Potter was house elf, because he did what his master asked him to do loyally. The most obedient creature. There are so many creatures in Harry Potter's novels, in the novel of Harry Potter. So, which one is the highest or highest level? Yeah, the most. So the most obedient creature. Don't forget with the word "the" here to show that it is the only one from or among others, among other things, or among other persons. Quirinus Quirrell was the least powerful of the Hogwarts professors, but he was intelligent and bookish. This to show that this is in the highest, and this is to show that this is the lowest. We can use the least powerful. You can, sorry that I don't give you the examples with the only word that contain only one syllabus, but it's okay. You can use the best, for example. You can have this Harry Potter's were the best of all. Okay. Or you can have the worst power, the worst. Quirinus Quirrell was the worst. It is alright. But the most important, because it is compared more than one or more than two persons or things, you have this of all of the Hogwarts professors, or in Harry Potter novels, in Harry Potter, or you can have it, this is the most obedient creature I have ever seen, I have ever understood, something like that. So to show that it is compared among others. Okay, you still have this, that most can mean very. Surely, you use this without the. The series of Harry Potter novels have been most popular since the story began to be on screen. So, most here shows very. That's why we don't need the, because we don't compare. It is not comparison. Okay. I think it's enough for you to understand about degrees of comparison. Sorry, it's enough for me to explain about the degrees of comparison with adjective. I hope that you can understand, especially the form, how to change from positive into comparative and superlative. Because if the form is wrong, then of course the meaning will change, and the construction, whether it is in the same level, higher level, or in superlative. Okay, I hope that you can understand what I have explained. Hopefully that you can use them in your sentences correctly. Thank you for learning with me, and thank you for watching this video. Goodbye.